Hello, everyone. I'm Lana. Thank you so much for joining us. Rescue and recovery teams are digging through wreckage in communities across the central United States this weekend. A tornado outbreak killed at least 80 people across 6 states Friday night. Most of the deaths were reported in Kentucky. The state's governor, Andy Beshear, confirmed Sunday morning some of the victims were young children. The town of Mayfield, Kentucky, was hit especially hard. A tornado struck a candle factory, and there were more than 100 people working inside. Only 40 people were rescued. CBS News correspondent David Begnaud starts off our coverage from that scene.
Lana, this is downtown Mayfield, Kentucky, and I took the Google Maps and I was looking, what was here? A place called Sussio's, a restaurant. There was a steakhouse just on the other side of it. It's so fascinating to look on Google Maps and see what was a normal town from the 19th century, known for manufacturing products and selling it here, leveled. When you drive into town, it says, "Welcome to Mayfield," more than a memory, but memories are all that some people have left. Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear said there are some towns that are just gone.
Devastating death and destruction this weekend as more than 30 tornadoes ripped through 6 states from Arkansas all the way up to Illinois. Hardest hit appears to be Kentucky, where the governor says one long-track tornado ran 227 miles from Arkansas right into his state.
This event is the worst, most devastating, most deadly tornado event in Kentucky's history.
The tornado that hit the city of Mayfield, Kentucky, sent debris 6 miles into the air. It could be one of the most intense and longest tornadoes ever recorded. Entire blocks are nothing but rubble now.
I can't believe that our town is gone now.
Barbara Tate was inside the now flattened candle factory here in Mayfield. She was one of more than 100 people inside the factory working on holiday orders.
People hollering for help me, and you crying and want to help them, but you can't help them because you're trying to help yourself.
So far, about 40 people have made it out safe, but the governor said it's going to be a miracle if they find anybody else alive. In Arkansas, a nursing home saw its roof ripped right off, beds thrown into the parking lot. One resident died, everyone else was safely evacuated. The state's governor toured the area Saturday.
What struck me the most is that there was not more that lost their life.
The governor of Tennessee credited evacuations for limiting the state's death toll to 4. In Edwardsville, Illinois, the roof of an Amazon warehouse collapsed with the workers still inside. At least 6 people were killed. Rescue workers worked from sunup to sundown, desperately looking for any signs of life. It's still unclear how many people are missing.
There are no words to assuage the pain of losing a loved one.
That is a pain Kentucky's governor says he almost felt himself.
It's really hard and really painful. I spent 8 hours wondering if one of my cousins was still alive.
I'll tell you, just driving into Mayfield this morning, I was looking out into fields where there was nothing, not a building to be seen for a quarter mile. But there was an overturned truck in the middle of a field, or a dumpster, or a piece of a house. You realize that the tornadoes literally took these things, these 1,000-pound things, and tossed them like toys. Lana, back to you.
So much more than memories. David, thank you. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says he wants to thank the nation for the outpouring of support. He told Face the Nation moderator Margaret Brennan his heart is broken for all of the victims, including young children.
I've read that the youngest fatality was a 5-month-old. As you said,
well, I know.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I know we've lost a number of kids. I know we lost a 3-year-old in Graves County, too. I think we lost maybe a 5-year-old in Muhlenberg County. Death in this tornado didn't discriminate anybody in its path, even if they were trying to be safe. Again, just like nothing we've ever seen before.
And I know the country's hearts go out to you. Is there anything that people at home who are listening can do to help the people of Kentucky?
Well, we will continue to accept every prayer that we can get. We are hoping for miracles as today is really day 2 of trying to find people. We've also set up a fund specifically connected to the state that is going to go solely to the families in Western Kentucky that have been hit. That's the Team WKY Relief Fund.ky.gov. It's going to be fully transparent and make sure that, well, first, we're going to help people with funeral expenses. And then we're going to help them rebuild knowing that the costs they're going to face are going to be long-term. But I want to thank the entire country. You have been there with us. We appreciate the love and the support. We are tough people. We're going to get through it, and it's not going to be easy. I'm still emotional after a couple of days. Just learned that my uncle lost a couple cousins in Muhlenberg County. So we're going to make it. We're going to see the other side, and we're going to rebuild.
You can watch that full interview and all of Face the Nation right here on CBSN. It streams at 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern every Sunday. We want to take you now to Bowling Green, Kentucky, where the storms killed at least a dozen people. CBS News correspondent Lilia Luicano is there. Lilia, first, just tell us and show us actually what you're seeing there in Bowling Green.
Well, Lana, the first thing that struck me when we got to this area is the sound. I mean, despite the obviously shocking images, there are alarms from the houses that were destroyed going off around the clock. And the people who are survivors who are coming here have told me that that's a very triggering sound, just to hear the alarms on and on and on. And behind me, I'm sure you can see some families of survivors from this area, from this subdivision, looking for what remains. The houses are completely leveled. I've talked to people who were lucky enough to leave within minutes and save themselves. I've talked to people who were lucky enough to shelter in the one room that kept the four walls of their home intact despite the roof being blown away. And they've also talked about houses that they believe nobody made it because they are completely destroyed. We know that here in Bowling Green, 11 people died. There's one more person from Warren County that died as well, so it's a total of a dozen so far. Authorities tell me this is still very much a rescue operation. It has not transitioned to recovery, and that there are at least 10 people that are still missing, and they're just hard at work. I just saw dozens of Navy sailors that are here working. We know that the National Guard was deployed, about over 180 National Guardsmen. So it's everyone from this community. Everyone that can access this neighborhood that doesn't live in this community is trying to help. I've seen neighbors driving around offering water, food, whatever people need, including containers where people can put whatever little items they can recover from their house. And that could be, I'm seeing a pair of shoes in front of me. There's toys, there's all kinds of, memories, photos, jewelry. People are trying to gather whatever they can, including Christmas presents. I talked to a woman who said, I'm suffering because I went shopping after Black Friday for gifts for my grandkids, and she was able to recover a couple of them, but that was about it after they had their Christmas trees and their lights and their ornaments. And it's just so jarring to see those ornaments just scattered around this mess of debris and rubble.
For some reason, that makes it just particularly devastating, these unusual December storms when people are supposed to be celebrating family and the happiest time of year. Lilia, you told us a little bit about the rescue efforts and the understanding that they are still looking for people who might be trapped. Can you tell us, since you've been there, since operations restarted this morning, have they been able to successfully pull anyone out of the rubble?
I am not aware that they've been able to pull anyone this morning. I do know that there's at least 10 people, but certainly more that are missing. Of course, there's issues of communication. And one of the things I'm thinking about standing here is I'm freezing. My hands are freezing. I can't imagine what it must be like to be in this cold, trapped under the rubble. I mean, I can't imagine that people have a lot of time to get to this. I also talked to a neighbor, and of course, course, neighbors are also coming together to a man who had a recent knee surgery. He's 55 years old, but has a hard time walking. He walks with a cane. He survived the tornado in his home, and the moment it passed, he could hear children. So he rushed across the street to protect and save a family of 4. He says, I was able to save the mother and a child and a small child, but I don't know about the other 2 people who live in the house. I hope they made it and that they're okay. We also do know for a fact that among the 11 dead in this town of Bowling Green, there are children. They wouldn't tell me the ages or how many, but we know that they're small kids.
Lilia, as you're talking about the survivors there and the cold, I'm thinking about the interviews that I've had with various local leaders and state leaders who have talked about how they've been opening their doors for people whose homes were destroyed in the storms. But, you know, as I'm looking at that wreckage, it's obvious that it's going to take a very long time for those homes to be rebuilt. What are the long-term plans for providing shelter for people and something more than just in temporary gymnasiums, et cetera? Are there coordinated state effort levels, federal effort levels now? Can you tell us more about that?
I asked local authorities precisely about that, and they said, look, that is where everybody's head is at right now. One thing is sheltering people in schools and other spaces, but what's going to happen in 2 weeks, that's the long-term plan that they're trying to determine. Of course, there's an urgency for that federal emergency funding to arrive here. We know that Senator Rand Paul is on the ground, and hopefully people are saying, look, hopefully that'll bring attention to here. And that's always the struggle when you have, you know, all of these catastrophes in different parts of the state and in different states, is making sure that communities that are smaller, making sure that, you know, the eyes of the world are on Mayfield, but people here in Bowling Green tell me, we really hope that, you know, the federal government is paying attention to what's happening here. There are hundreds of homes that have been destroyed, and this is not fixing, you know, a window or a room. This is, I mean, I'm looking at a house right now that has what looks like a semi right in front of it. I guess it's a moving truck, but it's just so jarring to see the devastation, the amount of force that those tornadoes had that are able to lift something like that, you know, off the ground and land it on a home. So it's going to take a long time. I mean, I know from covering wildfires that, of course, you know, SBA and FEMA come, and, you know, there might be plans for trailers or trucks or who knows, you know, loans. But right now what authorities locally tell me is this just happened, and our entire focus right now is on finding the people who are missing and providing the immediate assistance for people who lost everything.
Yeah, we're going to continue to hope that more people are found alive. Lilia, thank you for showing us all of the humanity that you're witnessing there in Kentucky.
Thank you.